Chapter 5, The Encore. In a hotel room after the show, David and Giselle made passionate love. David caressed every inch of Giselle's curvaceous body, smelled her hair as he kissed the nape of her neck. Giselle was not a shy woman. David was somewhat worried that he would appear inexperienced, but Giselle made him feel like the first and only man she'd ever had. She was a molten fire that threatened to consume David, but he loved being so close to death. In the afterglow, David imagined himself in flight, much like when he piloted his plane above the clouds, free. Giselle lightly ran her fingers along David's arm. "What are you thinking about?" she asked. "Daisy," he murmured. Giselle glared at David in mock fury. "You dare mention another woman's name after what I just did to you?" David laughed and squeezed Giselle's chin. "No, sorry," he said. "Daisy is my airplane." Giselle crossed one leg over David's, her smooth thigh threatening to ignite yet another fire. "And a pilot! Mon Dieu! What an accomplished man you are, David." Giselle kissed him and winked. "In so many ways." David kissed Giselle. "Enough of that. You don't need to build me up. I know you have known some truly accomplished men, commanders, ambassadors. I heard that a certain duke has proposed to you twice." Giselle sighed. "A title is not all that makes a man great," she said. "You are an outstanding musician, a valiant soldier. I see how your men look up to you. Only a great man earns that type of adoration." David shrugged. Giselle rolled onto David and gave him a long, deep kiss. "And now you have my adoration," she said breathlessly. In a hidden telegraph office, Thierry, in a German commander's uniform, paced as a young German soldier received coded messages. "French troops retreating south toward Paris. Stop," he read aloud. "Heavy supply shortages. Stop," the soldier added. "Widespread influenza. Stop." Thierry stopped pacing and went to stand over the soldier, whose brow was covered in sweat. He hesitated. "Go on, read the last of it," Thierry spat. The soldier sighed, then continued. "The Americans are on the march. Stop." In a small house in a nearby village, Pierre, a small boy, hid beneath the dinner table. Noise from outside shook the house. Plates with food rumbled to the floor with a crash. From his hiding spot, the little boy's view was blocked by the bottom of his mother's skirt as she tried to hide him from sight. A soldier slapped the woman soundly. "I won't ask again," he said in broken French. "Are you hiding any deserters here?" Silence. Another slap. "Ah, she is strong," he said to his partners in German. The soldier gripped the mother's face. "Where is your husband?" The woman met his gaze. "He is dead," she said in French. "Just like all of the others you killed from our village." "No husband?" the soldier mocked. "Then you are free for the taking?" The boy scrambled from beneath the table and rushed the soldier's legs. The soldier stumbled and cursed. He smacked the boy to the floor. The boy sank his teeth into the soldier's leg. The soldier grabbed his pistol. One of the other soldiers stopped him. "No, we will not hurt children," he said. "Let us just take what we need and get out of here. They could be coming." The little boy regained his feet. "That's right, you bitches. The Black Watch is on the march," he sneered. The soldier looked somewhat rattled at the comment, then directed the other soldiers to gather up the sacks of food and modest valuables stolen from the family. As they left the house and hopped into waiting tanks out front, the cruelest soldier looked back, The boy and his mother clung together. The mother shook with defiance, and the boy scowled. "Oh, do not be so certain about your so-called liberators, little mouse," he taunted. "We will kill all the orphan hellfighter niggers and cut off their tails." In Giselle's hotel room, Amy quietly set down a breakfast tray for her mistress and her overnight guests, the dashing black American soldiers. A train whistle from outside made Amy stop mid-step. She wondered if they would stir. Giselle slept soundly. David's eyes flew open and he reached for his pistol on the nightstand. When he recognized Amy, he settled back down and went back to sleep. Amy left and quietly shut the door. Downstairs at the desk, Amy handed over a letter for delivery to her village. Amy's letter to her grandmother. "Dearest grandmother, I hope you are well. I am doing well. Mademoiselle Giselle tells me I am doing a good job. I am having the best time helping her choose her gowns for her shows. We look through the catalogs for the coming season's fashions. Would you believe that girdles are going out of style? I know that you will never give up yours." Smile. "Mademoiselle has been kind enough to give me some of her dresses. Where will I, a country girl, ever wear them? And she even showed me how to make a nice chignon for myself using mirrors. She says my hair is pretty, so I should take care of it. She has given me some of her fine soaps. Lilac soap from the south of France from one of her admirers. What a luxury. I will be sending you some of it too when I get to the post for her again. She sends me to the post quite frequently now that I think of it. A secret between you and me. Mademoiselle likes someone. I saw him at the club after the concert. Mademoiselle sent me back to the hotel early. I could not help but smile because I have never seen her look at a man in such a way. He is negre, but he's tall and handsome, and he only has eyes for her. I am young, but I know love when I see it. As for her manager, Monsieur Thierry, he may love her too, I think, but he is not a good man. There is something cold about him. He does not notice me much, but I do my best to stay out of his way. He smokes and studies maps of our country, despite having lived here all of his life. He has a strange way of talking, always addressing his fellow Frenchmen formally, especially so-called friends who visit. They all appear to have a lot on their minds. They do not smile or laugh. I do hope Monsieur Soldier Pierce will stay around. I will write again soon. Love and flowers, Amy." David reached for Giselle in the early morning light. Her side of the bed was empty. Her belongings were gone. David dressed and went down the hall to knock on Amy's door. Nothing. He went downstairs. After inquiring at the desk, David was not entirely surprised to hear that Giselle had checked out in the middle of the night. David exited the hotel and saw Jimmy leaning against the car waiting for him. For once, Jimmy said nothing and simply walked around to the driver's side and climbed in. From his passenger seat window in the car with Jimmy, David watched the town fade from view to give way to the countryside. "I stopped by to see if Amy wanted breakfast, but they were already gone. She seemed really nice," Jimmy said. "She is," David said absently. "Her English is not too good, and my French ain't no better," Jimmy chuckled, "but we hit it off. I'd like to see her again. Who knows?" After about an hour, the car reached the base. At the checkpoint, a white AEF soldier stopped the vehicle. David rolled down the window and the AEF soldier leaned in. "Just where you boys think you going?" he asked. David held the soldier's gaze. "That's Sergeant to you," David said. "We are returning to base." The AEF soldier looked uncertain. A French officer approached. "What appears to be the problem, soldier?" the French officer asked. The AEF soldier looked from David to his French counterpart, then backed off. "Nothing, sir," he replied as he looked away. "Bon, très bien," the Frenchman said. He gave David the slightest wink. David gave the slightest nod in return. David spent the afternoon supervising soldier training. He stifled a chuckle as Jimmy haplessly charged a sandbag with his new bayonet. A frustrated French soldier reprimanded him to no avail, as Jimmy didn't understand what he was saying. Images of Giselle clouded David's vision. He shook his head to clear his mind. Her leaving him without a word said everything. He wondered how much longer he would continue to make a fool of himself. A memory of Ruth, his former fiancée, caught David off guard. She was smiling at him over drinks in a fancy establishment in Black Manhattan, as it was called. Ruth was dressed in a new fur, a present from her father. David was in a borrowed tuxedo. He always tried his best for Ruth. The daughter of a councilman in D.C., Ruth loved the New York scene and frequented the clubs. She became a regular at David's shows with his best friend Mitch, another cornetist. She invited David for a drink one night and they embarked on a whirlwind romance, or so David thought. Ruth pointed at the band on stage at the time. It was a quartet with the cornetist. They wore tuxedos. "This will be you one day soon," Ruth said as she reached over to straighten David's bow tie. "But you're much better than him. The club owner just up the block is selling, and he says it's ours if we want it. Happy engagement gift." David gave a tight smile. "That's great, but can I see the place first?" Ruth frowned. David felt bad for taking the smile away from such a beautiful woman's face. "I don't want to bother the man. He's going to give us a deal," Ruth said. "We will be short on time after we return from the honeymoon." Ruth jumped up from her seat and went to sit on David's lap. Friends at the club cheered on the couple as Ruth planted a kiss on David's cheek. David blushed. "Trust me, we can make it work," Ruth added. "You just focus on building your band. Which reminds me, we have to meet with the minister at the end of this week to go over the ceremony plans." Ruth's words faded in David's ears as he watched an older gentleman take the stage right after the band. The man was in a worn day suit. He set his hat down on the piano and started playing a familiar ragtime tune. The atmosphere in the club immediately changed. The room went cold as patrons smirked and giggled at the old-timey music. They began talking to one another over the music. The old man played on, either oblivious or too proud to stop. David listened closely as the man reminded him of his father. David vowed never to forget that music. It came from his home. "David, are you listening?" Ruth asked. She crinkled her nose at the ragtime music. "Goodness, when is he going to stop playing?" The man gave a quick bow to tepid applause. He put his hat back on and ambled off stage into the shadows. The hip young jazz band returned on stage to raucous applause. David left Ruth at the table and went over to the man. The man looked up in surprise. "Fine playing, sir," David said. "Thank you, young man. Where are you from?" "I can hear home in your voice." "Congo Square," David said with a wink. The old man smiled. Busting Through France was the greatest band on the planet. David had reached that one day soon. But he was less certain than ever of what his future held. Life in a foreign land had changed him. He no longer had a taste for Ruth and her social climbing dreams. He now craved a woman here in France that he couldn't have, a songbird who sings for the people, a woman he will likely never see again.